Your first problem is that a hot wire is not an actual physical barrier. If your 500-pound pig decides he wants to go plowing through your 12 to 17 gauge hot wire, he's gonna do it. There's no stopping him. It's dangerous with this thing off right now. The other problem is hot wire grounds out. You have to have it low enough to the ground to keep little piglets in, but if you do that, the bigger pigs are gonna bury it, and when that happens, it loses all of its potency. One of these is an easy fix, the other one is not. So the way that you solve your grounding out problem is regular maintenance. And if you can, try and keep your piglets and your full-size pigs in separate pens. That way you can run lower wire for your piglets and not worry about the big pigs burying it. And then you have higher wire with your big pigs, and that sorts them out from burying low wires. But you really just have to give it regular maintenance. It is one of those things with hot wires that is not as convenient as regular fencing is, but substantially cheaper. As for it not being a physical barrier, there really isn't a good solution for that. If you have enough money, you can build pretty secure paddocks. But I have a friend who kept pigs in a concrete cinder block barn, and they poked around until they found that one loose cinder block, knocked it out of the wall, and then they started working on their escape. So in reality, the absolute best system is a tandem using both a physical barrier with a hot wire. The hot wire will keep them from challenging that physical barrier, or it will keep them from challenging it too much. So this one janky looking wire has been enough for the most part to keep our grown pigs and mostly grown pigs in here. The reason for that is we have established a relationship with the pig that if they stay back there, we give them food, water, and shelter, and they don't need to come out here. And this hot wire will give them a bit of a zap if they try to. So all they need basically is some sort of visual reminder that there's an electric fence here. Again, this won't stop them if they decide to get a head full of steam and right out the gate. What this doesn't do is stop our piglets, because our piglets are short, so they scooch right underneath it. But then we run into the problem that if we run a bunch of wires lower, the big piglets come along and they root, and then we end up with grounded out wires, which doesn't stop anybody from going anywhere. As a matter of fact, at one point we had a sow and 9 of her piglets take off, go about a mile down the road, and start rooting in a neighbor's farm field. Suboptimal. So let's go fix the grounding out problem now. One of the benefits to hot wire, besides being inexpensive, is it does work for multiple animals. We have 6 cows that have stayed behind the hot wire, and that's all we have for them. There's no field fence, there's no barbed wire, it's just the hot wire. And we have taught them that if they stay behind the hot wire, we will give them food and water. Now, one of the drawbacks is animals have escaped, but in the 2.5 years that we've had cows and pigs behind hot wire, I think we've only had 6 or 7 actual escapees of the grown-up variety. Piglets will come and go because they fit underneath the wire until they're big enough to get zapped, and then they tend to stay behind it. But for the most part, the adults have stayed put just fine. So what we're doing is we're just raising this one up. It was at ground level before, but you can see they've rooted up all the way along here. And if your hot wire is touching the ground, then it grounds out, and that means the electricity goes into the ground instead of into the pig where we want it. Now, at some point, we'll probably come through here and add another wire. We'll make it even higher. These are kind of chintzy. We've come up with a better system, but that's not for today. We should be able to go turn it on, check the voltage, and see how we did. Now, because we're not keeping piglets in this section, we actually don't need this bottom hot wire anymore. And this is the one that has been shorting out because they've been rooting all over through here. So it's connected over here, which is where Big Bad Bratwurst is. We don't want to go over there. So all we're gonna do is cut it right here. And that just disconnected our entire bottom. That just disconnected the entire bottom hot wire. Now the plus side is if we ever decide to keep piglets in here again, all we have to do is reconnect that wire and unbury the edge. But for now, we're looking for a quick fix. So the reason this one only has one wire here, this is where we bring our trailer when it's time for butchering. So what we'll do is we'll actually back the trailer up right here, and then we'll open the trailer doors. We'll take the hot wire down, And then we put this into the back of the trailer, and then we feed them in the back of the trailer. And after about 2 or 3 hours, they actually get used to running in and out of the trailer. And then once we get the pig that we want to butcher in the trailer, we close the doors when we close it. So I just have not come back out here yet to run this back the way it should be. And we let piglets out, and piglets decided they were gonna do their own thing. One of the reasons besides cost that we have opted to use hot wire is it's very flexible. We can run this through the woods, and then we can rotate our paddocks and areas as needed really, really easily, as opposed to how difficult it would be to move physical barriers like fencing. And of course our neighbors are hunting. Actually, you know what I might have done? I might have cut the part that fed the hot wire.
Oh no.
So all we're gonna do is cut it right here. And that just disconnected our entire box.
We'll wait and see. Is it on? Okay, we got a problem. Ew, gross. Probably should turn it off or I'm gonna get lit up. It'd be great for YouTube, but I'd rather not get lit up. Earlier when you saw me cut that thing that I thought would fix the problem, it wasn't the problem. The problem was I had it connected over there between the top and bottom one, but I still would have had to replace this anyways because we had the bottom one connected to the rest of the hot wire. So you can see we're getting about 5,000 volts now, which is plenty for the pigs. And that means we have solved the grounding out problem. So far, this is what works for us. I'm sure we're going to modify this and change it as we go. I'm curious though, what's worked for you? We've only had pigs for coming up on 3 years now, and we're still learning. So if you have something that's worked for you, if you have a great escape story from your pigs, leave it in the comments below. And let us know what's going on your homestead. Thanks for joining us here today. My name is Brian. You've been watching Flannel Farms. Keep growing as you grow. We'll see you next time.